Hi and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the car boot crafter, and if you've been watching my videos this month then you'll know that September is embellishments month. So what I'm doing is I've got an A5 folder and I'm stuffing it full of embellishments and little treats, and that's then part of that's then the giveaway for September. So lots of little goodies in here, plus all the embellishments that I've been making this month. So in the front I've got a little pocket and I've got some little treats in these little envelopes that will go with the embellishments. I've also got all of the embellishments that I've been making, and you'll find the videos all in the one folder on my channel, which will have all of these videos in. So if you are not in the UK, or if you are late coming to the giveaway, then what you could do is get yourself an A5 folder, or bigger, whatever you choose. Get yourself a folder and follow the tutorials on how to make these, and you can make your own folder stuffed full of embellishments that are in your own papers, your own style. And what I've done is I've used mainly scraps, to be honest with you, to make these from projects I've done before. So you can see these papers are all tiny little scraps from a project I did a little while ago, and then these are just very small pieces of papers that I've used. So yeah, lots of scraps. Great way to use up your scraps to make one of these little embellishment folders. So let's pop those to one side and let's get on with today's project. So for today's project I'm going to do 4, so there'll be 3 or 4 in the folder. And it's really simple. It's a little pocket, fancy pocket, with a little tag inside. So to make one, and I'll show you how to make one, but then I'll go away and do the others and then add them to the folder. So to make one, you need a piece of card that measures 7.5 by 4 1/4. Let's pop those out the way. Those are my other 3. Another project, I've got loads of scraps of this paper from a project, little album I made a couple of months ago. So you'll need that size is 7.5 by 4 1/4, and then for the tag you need a piece which is 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. You'll also need a little scrap of card which is 2.5 by 2.5. That's not part of the project, but we will turn that into a template in a minute. So first thing we're going to do is I'll pop that smaller piece to one side and I'll bring in my scoring board. You'll also need, while we're at it, you'll also need an assortment of small buttons and some ribbon as well, just as part of the decoration of your embellishments. So the first thing you're going to do is score this at 2.5, yes, 2.5, and at 5. Very simple, 2.5 and 5. Then turn it to what will be your bottom. So this is going to be the bottom of my paper, because that looks like it's upside down to you, and the right way round now. So I want this as the bottom of my card. So I'm going to pop that back in, and I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch at the bottom. If you're using papers like this, which is non-directional, it doesn't really matter, but because these papers, and more importantly this one when I get to make it, are directional, I want to score the 1/2 inch at this bottom part. So once you've scored the bottom at 1/2 inch, you're going to turn it round. No, you're not. You're going to keep it there, and you're going to score then again at 3. So 1/2 inch and 3 all the way through. My scoreboard doesn't quite go to the 7.5. It goes to 7, but not to 7.5, so I'm just having to flip it over to score through. Okay, I can pop my scoreboard away now, don't need that. So what you've got is a piece of card that has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 boxes in it. So these one this side, if I just give that a little fold, those are chunky. These are 2.5 by 2.5, and then you've got your narrow one here at this end. So in fact what I'll do is I will score it, because it might make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. Score there, let's score here and here. Now you don't have to use double-sided cards. I just happen to have some nice double-sided cards that I want to use. If the inside is plain white, then that's fine, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to grab my scissors, and what I want to do is, so you've got 3 of these narrow rectangles at the bottom here. So I want to get rid of this one and this one, leaving the one in the middle. So I'm just going to, and I'm going to cut away the crease. So I'm not cutting down the middle of the crease, I'm cutting to the one side of it, so that I completely cut away that crease. So I'm coming down until I get to that first crease there. I'm going to cut over it because I want to come this side, and again I'm going to cut away. Ooh, do it like that. I'm going to cut away that crease. Let's hold that straight like that. So I'm just cutting away the crease. I'm just going up alongside it like that, and that then I can now discard. And I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So score where the score is, cut this side of that score line, going right up close to it like that, and the same on this side. So I'm going to cut that crease, this side of that crease. There we go. Let's just make sure I've cut in enough. So we now that I've done that, I've got that shape. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly the same at the top here. Cut away these chunkier rectangles, again following down to the side of the crease. And that side. And this one. And that side. There we go. So I end up, and get rid of those, I end up with that shape. Like that. Now I'm going to bring in, where did I put it? Where did I put that little square? There it is. So now I'm going to bring in this, and what I want to do is I want to cut from this point to this point, but I want to have a bit of a wavy line. So I can either use my pen and draw on, not a wavy line, just sort of like a curve, or I can do it freehand. So going from point to point, just going like a nice curved shape. Like that. And then I'm going to use this as a template for my for these sides here. So I'm going to pop that on there. I'll pop that one to one side because I tend to use this one. I'm going to pop that on there so that I've got the wavy line like that. No, that's upside down. Think about this. This is the top. So I want that at the top. So So I want my point at the top and this point away from there, and then I'm going to just follow that line like that, and then I'm going to flip my card over so that I've got the top pointing to the chunky rectangle, sorry, not square, and do that. So I've got a line on both sides, one going from this corner up to the chunky triangle, and from this corner up to the chunky triangle. So on the outside coming in. Okay, and I'm going to pop that to one side because I will use this now on all of them because that's my template. Bringing in my scissors again, and I'm just going to cut along that line. And I should say this is the inside of my little pocket. Okay, so that's cutting that one away, and I'm coming over this side. I'll do it this way, it's just easier for me. Tuck that out the way and then just follow it down like that. There we go, and I can get rid of those bits, they're just scrap. So now I've got a piece that looks like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold those in, and then that narrow piece will fold up like that. So it will look like that. But I'm just going to make a little bit of adjustment. I'm just going to cut that tiny little piece off, just a tiny little piece, so that this folds without it hindering that that curve there. And just because I can see it just goes ever so slightly over, I'm doing the same that side. Okay, so let's get this and start putting it together. Bring that up. There we go, like that. Now, before I do start gluing this down, I'm going to bring in this tag, and it is a die, but I'm only using it as a template to draw around. Now, if you've got one of these tag punches, then you could use your 2.5 inch setting to punch out a tag and use that as a template for the top here. But I haven't got a fancy one, I've got this really plain one, so I'm going to use this instead. And because the actual die that's cut out is too narrow, it's less than 2.5, I'm going to pop that on there and draw around that as well. If you want, you can just use a corner rounder and corner round these corners here, these corners. You could corner round them like that with a corner rounder, or using your scissors, or you can just cut them off so they look a bit like a tag. But I wanted something a little bit fancier. So those scissors are no good. Where are my other scissors? I did have them here 2 minutes ago. There they are. So what I've done is I've drawn around that tag because I quite like that shape. But it's not, the tag itself isn't quite big enough to cut out. So I've used the outside of it to draw this shape. And I'm just going to cut around that very carefully. And I'm trying to be true to the lines, because sometimes I do go a bit off and it looks a bit, yeah, it can look a bit lopsided when I cut things like this. But I don't know whether it's me or whether it's my eye or whether it's you know, my cutting skills. But anyway, so well, that's that done. So now I've got that fancy shape at the top, which I'm going to carry on all the way through. Now at this point, if you want to, you can bring in your distress inks, and again I'm using brushed corduroy, and I'm just going to ink very quickly. Actually, I don't need to do the bottom because that's going to be tucked away. Just inking all the way around like that. You can't really see it on this card unless you're right up close. It's just the colour of it, but it does give it a bit more of a dusty pink look with the ink. Do that. When I've done that, I'm going to do the folds as well. Actually, I'll do it from the front. There's that one. Let's fold that one over and then fold this one up. There we go. Let's pop that to one side, and I'm just going to very carefully, I can just see that it's catching just slightly at the bottom there. Let's tuck that away. I just want to cut off a tiny little slither there. It's hardly anything at all. And I'm going to pop this together. So decide whether you want right over left or left over right, and you're not going to glue the one you put down first because you want that to be a pocket, but you are going to put a little bead of glue along the bottom and then bring this one across like that, and then this little flap, put some glue on like that and fold that up. And then I'm just going to use some sewing clips to hold that in place while I do the next bit. So that is then just left to dry. So I'm going to bring this piece in, and what I do want to do, actually, and I forgot to cut it, is I want a piece of contrasting card. So this will do. Let's get my little guillotine. So I need a piece of card that measures 2 inches by 3/4 inch. So let's do the 3/4 first. There's 3/4, and let's see if we can get that out, and 2 inches. There we go. I'm going to use this side because I think it's going to contrast really well. And again, I'm just going to go round it like that. Just a little bit of ink on there. Pop it back into my scoreboard and score at 1 inch. I'll use this one, save taking that one out. So score at 1 inch, so I've scored it in half and fold it over like that. This is just another embellishment that's going to go on here. And again, I'm going to bring in my ink and just distress ink that. So next thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to corner around it. And again, I know I had my corner rounder here a minute ago, but of course I can't find it. It is here somewhere. You know, when you have it all out ready and then you forget and you move things and you enjoy putting things away. I'm going to use this one. I was going to use the wider one, but I can't see it now, so this one will do. I'm going to just corner round those 4 corners on this like that. So they're all rounded, and it's choice. So I've done that one, but if you prefer the wider one, which I probably would use if I could find it, but of course I tidied it away somewhere in preparation for doing the video, completely forgetting that I absolutely do need it. So there's my tag, which is going to go inside my little pocket. But before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of glue, just a spot, just a tiny little bit, and I'm going to glue it at the top like that. And I'm just doing it by eye. If I turn it this way around, I can probably see it a bit better. Just doing that by eye. More that takes a minute to grab. Let's move the ribbons out the way and bring in my hole punch, and whichever hole punch you've got, it doesn't have to be a crocodile, but you are going through 1, 2, 3 layers of card, so do bear that in mind. And I'm just going to punch through like that, so I've got a little hole in my tag. And the reason I'm doing that is because I then want to use some of my ribbon. I'm going to use this rather sort of turquoisey blue one. Let's cut a piece off and move that out of the way. I'm going to just thread that through on here. And the reason I haven't glued this down is, and if you want to, go ahead and glue, it's entirely up to you, but I only glue the back because I like having a little bit of movement at the front. It just gives it a tiny bit of movement, a tiny bit more, I don't know, a bit more of a finish, I think. So pop your ribbon through, and I'm using this little, it's like an organza ribbon. So pull that through. And then finish off your ribbons at the top, whichever way you want, whether you want a fishtail or like me, you're just going to do a couple of these like that. So that's my tag done. I want it on that, I want it to pinch on there, so I'm just going to pinch it together like that. It's not having it that side, is it? Let's pull that side a little bit tighter. There we go. So that's my tag done. That's going to go in there. And before I do anything else, take that off there because they're done. That's nice and dry. And then I'm going to decide, I want my ribbon on there. So I'm just going to wrap that round so I know how much ribbon I need. It's going to go there and hide that join there. And I hadn't thought about it, had I? Let me see, I've got some nice thin red tape which I'm going to use to glue it down. So let's see if I can find the end. That's a job in itself, isn't it, finding the end of the tape? There we go. So because it's going to go all the way around, I'm going to put my tape all the way around. So I'm going just above where that piece that I pulled up, just on the edge of that, round the other side, keeping it straight as I can. That's by eye, so if it is slightly out, it shouldn't be by too much. So in fact, it's not out, it's nice and straight looking. So we've got that. I'm going to take that off. Take that off, and I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to pop it in the middle like this, so we've got a bit of an overlap on the other side. So you can see that just hides that join. Let's bring it across the back. Keep that nice and straight. And bring this one in. Ooh, fiddly. join them together, and then I'm just going to cut that. Those ones might be better. Like that. There we go. So that's where my join is at the back, out of the way. So, and last thing I'm going to do is glue on a button, and then that is my tag to go in there, and that is another little embellishment for my folder. So I'm going to make another 3 of those and pop them in the folder. So I'll do another one, and if you want to stay with me, great. If you want to finish the video there, then that's fine too, and I'll see you in the next one. But let me carry on doing the second one. So this is exactly the same. So 2.5 and 5, turn it round 1/2 inch and 3. I'm going to flip it over only because my scoreboard doesn't go all the way down. 2.5 and 3. Let's pop that back on there so I don't lose it. And the great thing with doing this now is that I don't have to explain, I can just go for it. So these can be made really, really quickly, because they are so simple. But I find them a lot of fun and a great way of using up your scraps, especially if you've got some of the bigger scraps like this, because this is 7.5 by 3.25, is it? Let me just remind myself. 7.5 by 4.25. So it's a great way if you've got any of these larger scraps to use up, or if you're getting a bit bored of a collection, or you're nearing the end of a collection and you've not got many of those papers left. So again, this is on the thin side, and I'm cutting away the cutting away the those corners like that. So as you can see, you can make these really quickly, almost like a production line. I would normally, doing the 4 of them, I would normally do all my scoring, then all my cutting, then I would use the same template to cut that curve line, and then I would do all my gluing together at the same time, making up all the tags last and then fitting them in after I'd done all the ribbons and the buttons. You can do loads of these in one go, like that. Let's get rid of that, we don't need them, so you've got that shape again. Let's bring in that template. There we go. And remember, flat piece goes next to the thin tab, and then the point points to the thicker one. Pop that on there. I'm going to flip it over so I can see it this way. Round, flip it over, puff that side right up to there. Bring in a pen or a pencil, whatever you're using, and then remember to flip it, because you don't want to cut it that way because it just won't join up. So you can't really tell when I was doing. You don't want to cut it that way from that point down to there. You want to cut it from this point up to there. So let's pop that back on. Make sure it's all buffed up. Ooh. There we go, and draw that on. Let's pop that to one side for later. Bring in my scissors. Now, if you're still with me, I'm going to do a little bit of a hidden giveaway. So if you're still with me and you would like to win some buttons and some ribbon, I'll cut some couple of meters of 2 or 3 meters of ribbon, different colours and different. So there will be the blue. Let's be more specific, shall we? Let's do that. Hold on. I was concentrating and not thinking properly. So I'll do a couple of meters of this, a couple of meters of the white, some buttons, a lot more than that. I'll do a good pinch of buttons. So if you want to win my hidden giveaway, what I'd like you to do, so I know that you want to be involved, is to use the word monkey and buttons. So somehow in the comments write monkey and buttons. Doesn't have to be monkey and buttons. You can, you know, I really like the monkey on there, those buttons are cute, whatever. You know, whatever works for you, you're going to do. Right, that one is slightly over again. I don't know how those are slightly over. It just seems a bit odd. Maybe I've cut it slightly over on there. So that will go on there. Let's bring in my tag like that. So yeah, put in the words monkey and the word buttons, and what I'll do is I'll give it a few days, then I'll pull the draw. Obviously UK again, obviously you've got to be over 18, and these are going to come from my stash. There's going to be it's not going to be these ones, because these ones I'm using on the project just like I did with that one, but it will be those style of buttons, maybe, or maybe there'll be some other ones. I have got a drawer. Let me show you. I've got a drawer full of buttons, and I have packets of buttons as well. So what I'll do is I'll get a handful of these buttons. It won't be these ones because it will be a different handful, but it will be from this this little collection I've got here. So I'll just pick out a pinch of those, along with a couple of meters of each of those, and maybe some more if I've got them out. We'll see. So that is my hidden giveaway, and we will keep it between ourselves. So just somehow in the description, yeah, the comments box below, write something about the monkeys and something about the buttons. So it must have both monkey and buttons on, so that I know that you've watched to here. So I do like a hidden giveaway. I should do more, shouldn't I? Don't do them very often. I just, on the spur of the moment there, thought if I carry on a little bit longer, most people will have turned off. But if I carry on a little bit longer, there may be some people that stay with us on there. So that's the base done. That's going to go left to right. So let's just put the glue on there. We don't want to put it any on this one, the one that's going on the inside, because we don't want to hamper things going into the little pocket. And then do that. I could have come in a little bit on each corner, I suppose, couldn't I, and made it a little bit more pocket like, but what I want to do is use the ribbon to cover that, so you kind of almost don't see it. I know my buttons come off because I haven't got the glue to glue it on just yet. I've got it somewhere, I know I have. Oh, actually I do have, of course I do, I've got the silicone glue. I don't know why I completely forgot I'd got it, but anyway, there you go. So there's that one, and that one will have one of these tags. Again, corner, 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 and corner. And then I want that and some contrasting cards. And I do like this card, it's so useful. It's not the prettiest of card, I will admit, it's not very pretty, but is so useful for contrasting on projects. Let's pop that there. Try and get this out. It's the only problem when you cut things that are smaller than this safety bar is you then have fun trying to get it out. Oh, and I need to cut it at 2 inches, don't I? Almost forgot. Too busy chatting and whittering on. And then I've got a little piece which I could use in something. I'm sure I could use it. I could even punch it out as a flower. Always got my little punch to hand so that I can then, if I've got tiny little scraps like that, that I can just punch out. Oh, there we go. I can just punch out a little flower so that nothing goes to waste. Always use for something. Let's bring that back in. Score at 2 inches. No, score at 1 inch because it's 2 inches in length, isn't it? Pop that there. Fold that down. Put a little bit of glue. And it is only a little squidge of glue. Now, which way round do I want this? Do I want it that way or do I want it that way? I'm going to have it that way. I quite like that way round. So, let's pop that back on there. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I forgot to ink it. Well, that's okay because I can ink it while I'm holding that bit to dry. And that then gets me to ink that as well. Because I'm in a rush. I thought, how can I do the giveaway in a way that I'm checking to see if anyone's still with us? And it was a bit of a spur of the moment idea as I started the video. So there we go. That just gives us a little bit more depth to it. And don't worry, this is the last one. I'm not going to do any more. There we go. That's the hole done. And yes, I'm going to use this. I wasn't sure whether I'm going to use the blue for this one or whether I was going to use the white, but I do like this colour blue. Let's pop that through. Come on, you want to get in there. Does anybody else talk to their projects? I think I might have cut this ribbon a bit too small. A bit too short, not small. I'll soon say. If I don't like it, I will re-thread the ribbon through. But I will do it off camera because obviously you don't want to see me fiddling with ribbon. There we go. Both through. I'm just going to pull that tight and bring that down. It's got caught on the edge there. Right, so there's those two done. That is going to go in there. Let's take those two off there because that should have glued by now. And you know, you could if you wanted to. I like the idea of this being open. I know I've folded it, but I like the idea of it being open and that just sticking out like that. But if you prefer, you could cut this tag down to 2.5, still have it 2 1/4 in width because it's got to fit inside. So 2 1/4 by 2.5, or again 2 1/4, and then it will sit all the way inside your card, and you'll be able to fold it over. Let's take that out. You'll be able to fold it over like that, so it's a proper little pocket if you wanted to. Or you could use it that way around. That way around's nice as well, isn't it? So there's 2 done. Oh, not quite. I need to do my ribbon, don't I? There's me rushing ahead. There's my piece of ribbon. Where's my I'm such a messy crafter. There it is. There's my red liner tape, and again just going above that piece there, coming round the other side, keep it as straight as I can because I'm getting fiddly now. It'll go skew-whiff. Pop that to one side. I've got some more of that, so that's not a problem. Let's take this off. And it's the front more than the back that I'm interested in, because the back, if you're using it on your project, the back won't be seen because you'll be sticking that onto your project. Bring that in. Bring that one across and just cut that off there like that, and that is another tag done with, oh, I'm going to use that green one, I like that. So there you go. So there's two. I'm going to make some more and use them and then pop them onto the back into my folder. So two done, two more to do, and then I'll add them in to the folder. Now a couple of people have asked how I've put them in the folder, so what I'll do is I will do a really short supplementary video just to show you how I've done that. Very simple, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, bye for now.